Amazing story. Have you shared this with the Senate Select Commission on Intelligence or with ARO, and do you have evidence to back this up?
Thank you. No, I haven't. And no, I won't. It sounds like a honey trap to me. I will not place my life in the hands of politicians. I have no proof other than this message. I know it's not much, but it's what I'm prepared to offer.
So they're bioengineered worker bees. Any elemental components that are unattributable to our biome?
Yes, knowing that they're disposable, unable to live independently without technological support, and that they're ephemeral. The only suitable hypothesis is that they are alive only to accomplish their task. Can you clarify your question about elemental components?
Can you expand on the document on their religion?
EBOs believe that the soul is not an extension of the individual, but rather a fundamental characteristic of nature that expresses itself as a field, not unlike gravity. In the presence of life, this field acquires complexity, resulting in negative entropy, if that makes sense. This gain in complexity is directly correlated with the concentration of living organisms in a given location. With time and with the right conditions, life in turn becomes more complex until the appearance of sentient life. After reaching this threshold, the field begins to express itself through these sentient beings, forming what we call the soul. Through their life experiences, sentient beings will in turn influence the field in a sort of positive feedback loop. This in turn further accelerates the complexity of the field. Eventually, when the field reaches a critical mass, there will be a sort of apotheosis. It's not clear what this means in practical terms, but this quest for apotheosis seems to be the EBO's main motivation. The author of the document added his reflections and interpretations as an appendix. He specified that, for them, the soul field is not a belief, but an obvious truth. He also argues that the soul loses its individuality after death, but that memory and experience persist as part of the field. This fact would influence the philosophy and culture of EBOs, resulting in a society that doesn't fear death, but which places no importance or reverence on individuality. This belief compels them to seed life, shape it, nurture it, monitor it, and influence it for the ultimate purpose of creating this apotheosis. Paradoxically, they have little or no respect for an individual's well-being. Please be advised that I'm speaking from memory of something I read more than 10 years ago, so take the following with a grain of salt. Also, I'm not a philosopher or an artist, so please excuse my struggle to properly formulate the concepts and my dry terminology. Finally, note that this information comes from a document whose author was directly interacting with the EBO. It is not specified whether it was an ambassador, a crash survivor, a prisoner. The means of communication were not specified either.
What is the name and location of the lab?
Patel National Defense Institute. It is on Google Maps.
So, some technical questions. Genetic scarring, any evidence of similar viral infections, or genetic mutations that are detectable across evolutionary timescales?
None other than in the so-called terrestrial gene directly copied.
Our genetic evolution pertaining to weakening of the jaw muscle that prevented our skull plates from fusing and hence accommodated our growing brain. Has it any detectable traces of manipulation?
The artifacts of human evolution are not present. They don't have wisdom teeth or a coccyx either, if you must know. I have no knowledge of their potential influence on our evolution.
So what about Hox genes and embryology?
We can see single nucleotide polymorphisms in human genes that relate to different human populations. I never used clustal W on their sequence.
Is their nervous system similar to ours, as in lateralization? What about language areas like Wernicke and Broca's?
There is no structure comparable to the human brain other than what I have mentioned.
How do these organisms age?
There is no telomeres. The chromosomes are circular like a plasmid.
Can they communicate through telepathy?
It's speculated that nodules in the central lobe of the brain could be used for this, but I don't see how it could be possible.
You mentioned like having read literature on their culture. Like, can you expand on that? What is their culture? Does it shed light on why they are here, where they came from?
Their culture is seemingly centered on the fulfillment of this religious motivation.
The ideas on where they are from?
No idea. Probably from a distance that allows panspermia over a geological era.
Have you heard of genetic engineering involving people and EBOs, aka hybrid research?
EBOs are hybrids between two biospheres.
I have no idea if this is real or fake.
You shouldn't blindly believe me, and I don't expect you to. It's the sensible thing to do in this situation. After all, I'm only offering a tall tale and anonymity. The fact that you are present on this forum, which deals with alien life, tells me that you are questioning the very nature of reality. I only hope that the information I offer can give a new perspective and new ideas.
Did you pick up info as to who is creating the grays and or what their purpose is?
All I know is that they must have been created here. There is speculation that these creatures can be controlled remotely like drones. Maybe they're avatars like in the movie of the same name.
Can you discern anything about their longevity from what you saw, length of telomeres? What does their ribosome look like? What kind of athletic ability would they be capable of? Most importantly, were they just easy to cut or pierce? What about the suit? Well, also,
My comment on longevity is extrapolation only. I should have clarified. There is no telomere because their chromosomes are circular like a plasmid. The ribosome look like a regular ribosome, at least functionally. It's not the focus of research to do crystallography, fortunately. Their muscles are mostly type 1 fibers, so they're physically very weak.
The anonymous molecular biologist posits that these EBOs are genetically engineered entities with earthly and unknown biological elements. It's an analysis of the key points. The person sharing this information claims to be a molecular biologist who has worked extensively on EBOs. Despite the potential societal disruption, the motivation to reveal this information suggests a deep concern for transparency. Their efforts to stay anonymous raise questions about their disclosure's legitimacy and potential consequences. EBO's origin. The biologist suggests EBOs might be artificially created entities, potentially for a specific but unclear purpose. These beings purportedly have a genetic makeup that combines elements from earthly and unknown sources, indicating the possible involvement of extraterrestrial or advanced human technology. Genetic characteristics of EBOs. The post details some fascinating aspects of EBOs' genetics. Their DNA is simpler and more compact than ours, but has unique elements like tripalindromic regions, TPR, suggesting sophisticated genetic engineering. Genes match exactly with known human or animal genes, hinting at possible genetic manipulation. Physical characteristics of EBOs. The EBOs are described to closely resemble grey aliens of modern folklore, with key differences in their skeletal structure, skin, eyes, brain, and other bodily features. Brings up questions of their origin, evolution, and adaptation mechanisms. When biological and artificial systems, the EBOs appear to have designs similar to human beings, like the circulatory and nervous systems, but also have unique features like an excreta sudoriferous system, waste disposal and temperature regulation. They also possess artificial molecular machines potentially indicating advanced bioengineering or adaptation. Speculation on EBO culture. The post indicates that EBOs might have religious beliefs centered around the concept of a soul field. It suggests a distinct societal construct that doesn't fear death and places less importance on individuality. Implications for humanity. The disclosure of this information could have far-reaching implications, challenging our understanding of life, biological possibilities, and technological potential. It may trigger debates about ethical considerations, security issues, and policy decisions related to bioengineering and space exploration.